Hello.
Hello.
I know you're doing intro now.
Yeah, no,
doing
you're
the
in
intro
the
now.
intro.
You
Look
are
at the
the
camera and
intro.
smile. See? We have a guest,
cheating.
everyone. His name is...
Sreten.
No one can pronounce it. If you think that's
My
bad,
American
it's
name is Mike.
You're kidding.
Really, like when you
when
order
I
a
go-
coffee or something
Yeah, when
like
I go
that?
to Starbucks, when they ask for my name, it's Mike.
Mine, you know what I do? No, I'm not kidding. Idiot. So they're like, we have a coffee for... I know it's me. Anyway, we have Sreten here from M539 Restorations. He is a YouTuber, which means you're a douchebag. But he's not actually a douchebag.
No, he's a BMW driver. That's what means he's a douchebag.
Good point. He's a double douche. Double douche.
What an honor.
And so, yeah, we're going to talk to Sreten today, who is currently, well, not currently, but in the process of resuscitating
Yeah.
A neglected V10.
a neglected V10 manual 5 Series and simultaneously destroying my vagina.
Yeah, your place is a mess now.
Well,
There's oil and
Stop
all
it.
sorts of, you should get that checked.
Oh,
You should get that checked, Jason.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this content, please consider joining the Haggerty Drivers Club, which includes unlimited roadside flatbed assistance 24/7 for all of your classic cars and a subscription or award-winning magazine. And we need to get out of here now. There's a link below. Click buy. Clap.
that was almost good.
Because I wonder where you are. R.
The letter R?
No, the A-R-E. The
R,
word.
yes.
I wonder what you do.
Right? R, the letter R for RSPCT, right?
So
That
this is
works.
what you do, just goof around?
Oh, we're recording. Hi.
Are we?
Yeah. That's how it is. This is what you do, just goof around. Have you never seen this podcast?
I did.
Okay, so you know that we're stupid.
Usually when I'm a vapor
Derek's
blasting.
vagina just fell out.
I'm now a lightweight model, superior power to weight ratio.
So I think I'm going to start out this episode by doing this to you
Yeah.
with my fucked up
that's-
finger. Oh, do we both have fucked up fingers? Can you show?
Yeah, mine is worse
You can
though.
show the camera there.
Yeah, mine is falling apart.
This is wood.
It looks
What happens?
rotten.
Yours looks nasty.
Yeah, it
Real
looks
men.
disgusting.
I'm going to give you this finger because this one is decrepit now.
It's well deserved. Totally deserve that.
And it's because I'm wearing this shirt, which is your apparel, which is available all over YouTube's or
It is
the
missing
internet.
one logo on the bottom, but still, it's a nice,
But I have an
E31.
E31 shirt because I bought an E31, and I bought an E31 because of you.
Yes.
You.
There it is, right over there.
There's
Misery
a
CSI.
bunch of different reasons why you bought an E31, and they go back to at least...
Okay, our Lord and Savior Bill Arnold, who will work on anything, won't touch an
remember
E31.
that, yeah.
He will not touch any BMW V12. And so over the last 15 years that we've been friends, every time I'm like, I kind of want an 8, and before I can finish saying, he's no, you're not getting it. They suck to work on, and I'm like, yeah. Then I found your channel.
They're great to work on.
Actually, GG, our friend, was the one who was like, there's this guy, he starts out every episode, he's like, coming up.
Yep.
And then he just when he hurts himself, he goes, ow! Like really high, and it's very funny.
Manly screams, yeah.
What are they?
Manly screams.
Manly screams. Yeah. And he like calls everything like his Jack is Hugh Jackman. And
Yes.
he makes all stupid punny stuff. And I'm like, okay. And so I start watching the channel because he's like hurting himself, i.e. this working on V12s. And I'm like, they're not that bad. Next
easy.
thing you know, I own a fucking E31, and so
And you were just fixing the headlight a couple of days ago.
do you know how
And
miserable
hating
that
your
was?
life.
Yeah,
Is it bad?
No, he bought wrong parts. He spent like $1,000 for nothing.
This is not the kind of
I don't-
admission we normally get
I
on
was
this
gonna
show.
say normally we help each other protect each other's reputations publicly. I bought headlight buckets, and it turns out every part of the headlight is broken.
Not in it.
Except the bucket. The only part that I bought is the only part that I needed. I have a buyer for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So
that works.
So
out.
there. Okay. So have you watched M539?
By
Restorations?
reputation.
Yeah, if you have a few hours of your life, daily, maybe. Because the videos are stupid long.
They're
What is the optimum viewing circumstances, right? There's different types of content that I watch in different circumstances.
I start out, so I would say like on this continuum, you have the really bad YouTube stuff that just is on in the background while you're playing video games and getting high. Not me, but other people. One would. People, young people. And then there's the stuff that like icons, where you're just completely watching the TV.
Yeah.
He's somewhere in there, but towards the icon side. So I start out thinking, oh, I'm going to cook dinner. And it's not like, I don't have to chop something. So I'm not going to chop my finger off. I'll start out with it in the background, and then I order something from DoorDash because I get sucked into the fucking episode.
Nice. That's good to hear.
Yeah,
because my goal with the episodes is always like you start with something, then you have the long whatever you're doing, and then you have the end. So it's like one nice, satisfying video. That's how I like to make them. So
it is.
You get satisfaction at the end.
There is an arc, and I get. You know what it is? It's a combination of the fact that you're totally annoyingly meticulous working on the car. Yeah, you seem. I know the real you, but you seem to be unendingly positive. No matter what goes wrong, you're not throwing things and cursing.
Sometimes
in the video, right, in the final product. And you're like, oh gosh, darn it. This broke while I'm in there. I guess I'll just rebuild the whole insert name of car, right? And it's just, it's the mission creep shit that happens to the rest of us, but it's like all with a positive attitude.
Yeah.
And then you do stupid shit like
because I like breaking
oil for
shit
men.
and like fixing shit as well. A fogging oil for men is the best thing ever. Should have brought you a bottle. Forgot.
What is it?
It's Axe. No, I'm kidding.
It came from the joke like perfume for men. And you have basically it is fogging oil in a spray can. It's like fogging oil for men. Yeah.
It's just it's like you
go on a date and you want to smell manly. A little bit here and there.
Date with whom? A mechanic?
Nobody wants anyone to smell like fogging oil. Also, I've never used fogging oil. I a real man pour a teaspoon of oil down the spark
fogging
plug.
oil is the shit.
Okay,
Get
assembly
a long
lube.
straw. Yeah, but this is better. You get a long straw and it's literally like a mist of oil that goes everywhere. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I could just sneeze out like.
Or something.
I was going to say sneeze out your asshole after you eat the taco from the taqueria I sent you the other day. Anyway, so you're back in California.
I am, yeah. 2 weeks.
Would you like to tell the audience what stupidity you're up to? Or Derek, you can tell Derek too. Derek doesn't know the full story. He'll pretend.
Fixing a broken BMW in your vagina. Sorry, warehouse.
Oh, no one knows about this.
Oh, hold on. You're talking. All right, not my vangina, because my vangina was strong enough.
Totally different thing. Yeah.
Was my vangina hold on, has enough torque that it was able to pull his fucked up E60 M5 across the parking lot with ease.
Yeah.
But so
well, that poor transmission, which is certainly known for durability,
for the record,
and thoroughly under warranty.
I didn't ever even hit the gas. It was just lift my foot off the brake and it just dragged it. But because it rolls.
Yeah, but you got to give it a break. It has a busted wheel.
Yes, exactly. So one of the tires was flat on the E60. So it rolled.
Let's back up. Where did the E60 come
from? Okay, let's back up one thing. Let me talk about my vagina for a second. And the reason he calls it that is, so I have multiple homes on HomeKit. So, I have HomeKit runs my
Internet
house
of
and
things.
right. And if I say open the garage door, my stupid phone will sometimes open the wrong garage door. So it'll open also, Gigi's house is on, I have access through HomeKit. And once he came home and his garage door was open, and I'm like, that's funny because I opened my garage door and it wouldn't do it. So I have to come up with a creative name. And so when I drive up to the warehouse where the cars are stored, I tell my watch, open my vagina, because the door is named vagina. And so now he picked up on that, is now telling them.
Yeah.
What else are you going to call it? You run out of stupid names like Portal. One of them is called, they're all called different things. And that one's open my vagina. Everyone laughs and the door opens and they laugh even harder.
Mine is the dojo. That's what I call my shop.
Okay. But then what would you call your garage door at home?
Garage door?
Exactly. That could be Gigi's garage door, or it could be somebody else's. Too many homes.
Yeah, but I don't have one. So
too many
Use
homes.
an Android. We don't.
That as well.
He's a green bubble texter. We have to use WhatsApp.
I hate fucking iPhones, but don't get me started.
Well, don't fuck them. Sorry.
So to Derek's question.
Yeah.
Where did the E60 come from?
Oh, so it's kind of a long story. I was on my honeymoon in Hawaii with my wife. And as one would do when on vacation in the US, you search for broken BMWs. So I was doing this, which if you're watching, I'm pointing to my fingers.
Point your...
Yeah, so one eye on your wife and then another eye underneath of the table, looking at your phone, searching for broken BMWs.
Not where I thought that was going.
But I was doing that only occasionally. And I found a broken E60 M5, 6-speed manual, one of 1,364 made in total.
All of which were sold in North America.
Yes.
New. They were not available
in Germany. Never. No.
Germany. Were they available in any other market besides Canada and USA?
I think Canada, USA only. Yeah.
Okay. This is my understanding as well. Yeah.
Because people here know what they want. So,
which is an inferior gear ratio set, but yes.
Well, still, it's a manual.
Yeah. I mean, it's better
V10
than a
car, so
SMG. We should come up with some terrible acronym for what SMG
Suck
actually
my gonads.
Sure,
That'll work, yeah.
Perfect. Which is what SMG actually stands for.
Shit my...
So anyway, it was on Copart.
Shitty motherfucking gearbox.
There you go.
Perfect.
Shitty
That's what
motherfucking
it is.
gearbox.
That's
Wow,
what it
I
is.
come up with expletives quickly. Anyway.
Yeah. So he was on Copart, which is an auction site that sells salvage cars and whatnot. And he was going up for an auction, and I had my eye on it. And I don't buy accident cars typically because I don't do like body work, structural damage. Doesn't interest me. Like I'm of belief if you smash a car and it's structurally damaged, it's done. I'm not going to repair it.
Yeah,
But this
don't
one
let it be
was
the
listed
same.
as undercarriage damage. And from the outside, it looked absolutely perfect. Like no dents, nothing. But I did spot on one picture that there was an oil mat in front of the engine. So one would presume that the oil pan is probably a little bit fucked. So I decided to bid. And I think we just came back
So
from...
that was the amount of information that you had about it.
nothing else.
Oh my god.
I did run the VIN, the Carfax. And it was a one-owner car from Sacramento. 112,000 miles. And it was fully loaded. So I was like, okay, this was a nice car at one point. Anyway, I decided to bid. We were in IHOP in LA, and things got out of hand.
On your honeymoon at IHOP.
Yeah. That's right after we came back from Hawaii. And it was going up for an auction, and I had my limit price in mind. I went way
Blew
over
right
that.
through
Yeah,
that.
I went way over that. I was bidding with one guy. He gave up in the end, and the car had a reserve as well, which was stupid high. But I stood my ground, and I ended up paying
Too much.
too much. Yeah, let's just say that. Too much for it.
So then I get the phone call
Yeah.
or the text message. Hey, I just bought this.
Yeah.
It's in Fresno, 3 hours away. And I'm like, okay,
Cool story.
I'll deal with it.
That sounds difficult for
No,
you.
but my thing was he needs to experience, as everyone does, Car Week. And when he came to the U.S. last year, I'm like, you should come back for Car Week. And I thought, all right, this is my con to get him. I'm like, I will go, and I had Joey Thayer get the car. Thayer's the best car transport in the business. And I'm like, just
Probably overkill for a salvage title.
he was somewhere close by. I'm like, hey, can you? He's like, yeah, I'll be on my way back from LA. And he picked up the car, dragged this pile of shit.
Yep.
And my thing was,
It's not the first time you or I have made him drag something. I had a customer who broke control arms in the deep desert. And Joey
in a
went
car
out-
that had no business being in the deep desert.
I mean, allegedly it did, per the manufacturer's intent.
It's a 911 Dakar, wasn't it?
Who can say? Anyway, Joey dragged it out with the rig because he couldn't get out there with a trailer.
So the car shows up, and my deal was, I will store it
It
for
was
you.
middle of the night as well, I think.
Yeah, in the middle. I will store it for you until Car Week. Come the week before.
So yeah,
fix it.
my goal was, I think, to ship it back initially to Germany to fix it up over there, and then you said, "Why don't you come for Car Week?" And I was like, "Boom, that's what I need to do."
Fix it here.
Yeah.
In Jason's vagina.
No, that is not my vagina.
Oh, the door is the vagina. Got it.
The door is the vagina.
In Jason's fallopian tubes.
We will push it through
Uterus.
my vagina and into
The uterus.
No, oh God, I'm not renaming the whole all the thing. It is the car closet. It's where I store the closet. It's Anyway, so we.
How are the accommodations?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason has a beautiful place.
I'm glad you get to hear
You're
it.
an amazing host. Yeah. I gotta say that
thank
right
you.
away. Yeah. Thank you as well.
Will you say that again once we hit the stop button? No, listen, I'm glad to have you here. I mean, first of all, let's talk about hosts. Don't forget that when we went to Europe last year, I was going to get a Porsche press car, and they were like, whatever. And I said, mentioned
Instead,
to you,
got a shitty E30.
you offered me any car you own. You're like,
exactly.
anything that
Whatever
runs,
you
you
want.
can take. Take the E60 M5. No, I can't afford to take the gas. Take the E39 M5. No, I can't afford that gas either. I want your slowest, most fuel efficient vehicle, which was the
Which is the
320i.
E30, yeah. The ridiculously slow one.
Little did I know that what slow actually meant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Stupid slow.
Yeah, how does it? You're driving Beatrice, which is Jason's rally track beat up, also salvage title BMW. You drive exclusively salvage title BMWs when you come to the United States.
Well, I guess, yeah. Technically, I don't have any back home. Well, actually, my E92 M3 is salvaged as well. Due to hitting a pothole or whatever. But Beatrice is actually really nice. I mean, it looks awful from the outside, but it drives beautifully.
just
Quite
like my
different
vagina.
from your 320.
Yeah.
Different from your 320i.
Yeah, I know
Which
you
is-
drive it as well.
It's opposite, which looks spectacular.
Yeah, it looks mint, and it's the early one with chrome
I think
bumpers.
if it had some power, it would be okay.
It needs power steering. It needs power,
it needs a faster
power steering,
rack.
comma, and gearing.
different ratios. Yeah.
I mean, I think it redlines
very tall.
second at 242
Yeah, you can
kilometers
hit
an hour.
100 kilometers per hour in second, which is stupid.
Yeah,
Not
when
for
the
that,
car
yeah.
has like 68 horsepower or whatever it has.
Beautiful car though. But yeah, so I'm just returning the favor. I mean, you pulled this shit.
You're doing more than that. I think I sent about 10,000 boxes of parts to your home
It
address.
was, well, the best part was when the
It's-
FedEx freight truck arrived and the guy pulls up and and I walk outside and he's getting his forklift running. And he's like, do you have a forklift? And I'm like, in my house? Like, what? No. And the guy's like, oh, okay. I guess I'll help you unload this. And so he moves all these pallets out of the way. And there's a pallet in the back that is, all I knew was the delivery was 73 pounds. They told that I could see on the FedEx thing. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he ordered now.
Well, if it's large and 73 pounds, it must be
You know what it was?
a bumper?
Came from Lake Mali.
It was 5 gallons of oil. They put a 5-gallon oil, like a jerry can of oil on a fucking pallet. And the guy's like
the biggest one.
yeah, it was hilarious. The guy's like, I have a knife. Do you want me to just cut the plastic off and I'll get rid of the pallet for you? I'm like, that's nice. So he moves the forklift out of the way, goes, here, bloop, there it is. And I put it in the back of the Golf and that was it.
Done deal, yeah.
That was actually the smallest, lightest box of all the shit that
Yeah,
arrived.
it was, yeah.
The FedEx guy just keeps ringing the doorbell and laughing. Like, what the fuck did you order now? And I'm like, it's not me.
So now you know
I'm
how
building a car.
Yeah, so now you know how my life is in Germany. Every single day it's like that.
So the carriers all know you.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, my wife, because I'm never home and everything gets delivered home.
Yeah, they're all laughing. They keep
They
coming with
hate
hand
me
truck
because they have
Really?
to carry car batteries, tires, heavy stuff and shit. But I always tell them leave it in the hallway. I'll pick it up later because no one is gonna steal a 20-kilogram battery.
The only thing that I think that pissed them, well, it didn't piss them off, but the brake rotors those boxes were like 70 pounds each,
giant.
and they left them on the sidewalk. They were probably like, fuck this, and of course then I had to drag them inside. But the rest of it, they carry to the front door.
Yeah, well, that's nice.
Yeah, they're all fine. So this episode will go live before your video,
I think so.
probably.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't tell them that it's a total piece of shit disaster. Oops.
It is. It's full of surprises.
Of course it is.
Full of surprises.
No one buys a salvaged car from Copart except me because I bought the Hyundai. I bought that white Hyundai XL on Copart for $300.
Yeah.
And turned the key. It started, ran, moved under its own
So
power,
why did
and
it
then the
get
air conditioning blew
salvaged?
ice cold.
Why did
Because
that car... Because it's
a shopping
$300.
cart hit it.
Yeah.
And no, it had been hit front right. But I literally the tow truck guy was like, he pulled up and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed. And he's like, no, it's actually a nice car. We were talking about it at the shop. And I was like, do you remember this? And I was like, what? And he's like, no, it's beautiful. Open the door. And I'm like, what does it smell like? Dead body? And he's like, brand new car. Open and you hear ding, 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 ding. Like the buzzer works and the interior's beautiful. And he's like, yeah, it just doesn't start. And I'm like, we'll just push it. Doesn't need to start. And he had this like 50-pound jumper box on it. And I'm like, oh, it's totally fine. It wouldn't start. So I just disconnect the battery, put my like $8 Amazon lithium 4-ounce jumper on it. It was started right up, and I drove it right into my driveway, and then tied it to a tree and backed up repeatedly until we pulled the frame rail
that's the
out.
hilarious video. That
Oh, yes.
Right.
With
our friend,
JJ.
yes.
All of our friends, by the way, have double initials.
Everyone in my family is like that. In my family, we have YYSSTTRRNN and PP. Anyway, you're welcome for that.
On my Find My, I have 3 AAs, 3 AAs, 2 JJs, and 4 MMs.
You can't forget LL also.
LL. He doesn't share his location with me.
Yes.
He shares it with AA, both of them. Anyway, because they show up. So when one day you get an iPhone and you have Find Mine, you can see where your friends and shit are. It just shows up as their initials, but it's like AALLMMN JJJ. I'm like, who are these fucking people? Anyway, apparently people like alliteration.
Yes. What were we talking about?
Him,
the M5.
Him
my
and
shitbox.
resurrecting a shitbox.
Yeah. So I thought it's going to be somewhat easy.
So what was your assessment? How did you know what to order if you knew so little about
So
it? Jason gave you an assessment. He looked under it and said, "There's."
He did.
But all I did was look under it, and it's been sitting there for months, and I wanted to clean it and put a new tire on it, but no, I mean,
I told him leave it as it is.
his video should be him pulling up and being horrified.
Yeah.
Which is what happened.
Yep. So basically, I have the exact same car back home in Germany, which I bought in 2021, I want to say.
Project
During
Chicago,
COVID.
is that?
No, Raleigh,
Raleigh.
which I was pronouncing correctly, Riley. But anyway,
Is this in North Carolina?
yes.
Raleigh,
Yeah,
North
yeah.
Carolina. Yeah.
I bought it like stupid cheap, $6,000. Clean title.
Wow.
And driving.
For $6,000?
Yeah.
Clean title?
A manual.
Manual.
Running and
65.
driving?
Yeah.
Did it have
100
793,000 miles?
143,000 miles.
Why was it $6,000?
It had a check engine light, and the engine sounded like garbage. And then it was delivered to me in Germany. It was disgustingly filthy, like properly filthy inside.
Was it Ro-Ro? Or did you
Ro-Ro?
put it in container? Do you,
Container, yeah.
You containerize
You
it.
containerize that piece of shit?
With three other cars, so I guess
Oh, really?
Roro, yeah.
Well, Roro is you hand them
Ro-Ro's
the
they
keys and they
drive it
drive it
into
in.
like a parking garage boat as opposed to putting it in a shipping container and then it goes on a container ship.
I have no idea. I just paid a company and they brought the car over.
Amazing.
Did it run? Did it start?
Yeah, it
run?
did. Yeah, running and driving, but it had a check engine light and it was misfiring. And I thought, okay, this is going to be a disaster. It turned out to be super simple. The previous owner or whoever used a cheap eBay ignition coil, and it was misfiring like crazy because of that. I bought an original OEM one. Which
This car has distributed coils, right? Like coil packs on each cylinder.
same
So
coils.
so you just replace all the coils.
Yeah, I just replaced that one that was causing the issues. Perfect. The engine was perfect.
And then you did rod bearings and
And then I
everything
did the
else.
rod bearings, and then I found some other stuff. The Vanos pump was broken and whatnot. But that video went viral. I think now it has like over 3 million views or something like that.
Holy hell.
That was a really, really big video. So it was over an hour of me just doing rod bearings and stuff. So, and since then I've done a ton of stuff to the car, basically everything. Weirdly enough, I never touched the engine besides the rod bearings, the Vanos pump, and the Vanos line. And then I just
This is a very BMW owner thing to say.
Yeah, but-
I haven't done anything to the car
Except
other than
rod bearings.
substantial interventions to the bottom end and also the
but you gotta give it
top
top
end
end.
as well.
You gotta give it credit. It's a 5-liter V10 4-door manual with 143,000 miles. I think that's quite good.
Yeah, it's just that,
Compare it to another V10. Come on.
But here's the thing: it's only BMW owners who consider rod bearings routine maintenance,
Yeah,
that is true.
on some engines, yeah.
right? You've never heard of somebody buying a Honda and say, "I had to do rod bearings and VTEC bolts." Like it just doesn't happen.
Okay, but what about other high-end manufacturers? Maserati, Ferrari, Lambo. When was the
Okay,
last time
don't
you
talk
saw
about
one?
Maserati because
Don't talk
you're
about
gonna-
Italian
you
cars,
should-
period.
you
I
should
do
watch-
look forward to hearing the Maserati story.
You should watch
actually.
the whole series on this fucking car
don't.
because I got to tell you, it's
miserable.
If you gave me, what'd you say a couple weeks ago? You said if somebody gave you a Ferrari 550,
Oh, I would only take it if it came with the title so that I could immediately sell it and buy something that I actually
Yeah.
wanted.
I always wanted one, actually.
because they're pretty. If
Yeah, they
you
are
gave
pretty.
me that Maserati, I would punch you in the dick. Like, fuck that car. That car is such. I mean, I warned him because his dad has a Alpha
it's
QV, and it's like
Stellantis
similar
product,
sort
yeah.
of fuckery. Like, oh, you need to do an accessory belt, $21,000,
Just take the
please.
engine out.
Just
And
let
throw it
the car
away and
fire.
replace it with an LS.
Yeah, it's totally unfriendly to service. It's
To return momentarily to the E60 M5, what is the perspective of continental Europeans of that car with a stick shift? Are people like, that's
they love
freaking
it.
weird, or they're like, that's
They love
super
it.
cool? Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah, they love it. They always wonder why they never did one for like European market. But the matter of fact is that the market in Europe is much smaller than the one in the US, so they couldn't sell enough for them.
And Americans have, what I heard it characterized was that Americans have like an irrational fondness for stick shifts in a way that maybe wasn't present in Europe at the same time.
Coming back.
Is it?
I mean,
I was wondering if that
when I talk
mentality
to-
is shifting.
The funny thing is when I talk to European journalists or engineers, they're like, "Oh, it's coming back." Like, no, you stupid fucks! It never died here.
Yes,
it
it was always
continued
here.
to exist
Yeah.
here, and you guys deluded yourself into
You guys
thinking that
also-
this was emotional. Like
Yeah.
that's not.
You also got the F10 M5 as a manual.
We did,
which
yes.
was never available in Europe. So.
I've never actually driven any F10 M5.
Oh, really?
Me neither.
They're
I
hydro
heard
steering.
mixed- I heard
Hydro
mixed
steering? Okay.
stories about it. So.
And plenty of oomph.
Oh, they're fast as shit.
Yeah.
And it works with a manual. It's not the greatest, most enjoyable car
Does
in
it
the world.
work
to drive.
better or worse or same as an E60 M5 with a manual?
Sreten's gonna kill me. The SMG works far better with that engine than the manual
so
does.
The manual was definitely an afterthought.
But I
Yeah, they
wouldn't
put a
have.
540. Is this one of those things where they combine gear ratios and differential in a way that you end up with something that's kind of suboptimal, like a Carlton, right? The Carlton was a combination of here's the differential we have that's strong enough, and here's the gearbox we have that will do that, and then we put them together, and you end up with ratios where you're like, so now I'm going 130K at 1800 RPM.
You can't, right? You can't even at 130 kilometers an hour, or 80 miles an hour, you can't even get into top gear in the Lotus. It's not in that Lotus Carlton. It's not that bad, but it's just the SMG. The ratios are so much closer.
SMG is also seven speeds. Right. This is 6-speed manual.
So you end up in situations periodically where you're like, wow, there's not really an option here for getting the torque that I want
that I know would be
given
available,
the ratios that are offered to me by this.
But
it's like in driving a 930.
It's also really
4-speed 930s are like that.
What?
It's a long throw shifter, and it's just not.
I got an aftermarket one coming. Actually, it's already been delivered while I was over here.
Yeah,
so
it's not a bad car. It's just
No, I love it, but the thing is, I don't think you can fully enjoy that car over here because you don't have the Autobahn, and I think you can't even rev out in the third gear, and you're going to be over speed limit. You're going to go to jail.
Top of third gear is actual jail / vehicular confiscation in California.
And for me, like ever since I got that car, I completely fell in love with it. It's my favorite.
Because you have an Autobahn.
Yeah, and I put carbon fiber, microfiber intake plenums.
Microfiber, carbon fiber and microfiber interchangeable.
I love it. Like I always get comments.
Carbon fiber towels.
Do you mean microfiber?
Get a carbon fiber towels and fogging oil for men.
Yeah. It's fun to
You should watch this channel. The thing is, wrenching videos can be really boring or frustrating when you're yelling and screaming at the screen. Don't do that, you stupid fuck! With an impact gun on an oil drain plug or something. But he does it by the book and then makes it stupid funny and then hurts himself. And
You're one of those people who finds nothing funnier in the universe than someone getting hurt.
Yeah.
My brother's wife is like that. Yeah. Nothing more hilarious than her husband getting injured.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, I get it from my mother, who I once knocked myself out in the front yard, and she put me on the baseball team, and I would sort of have a panic flinch reaction if a fly ball came my way, and so I was sort of practicing throwing the ball up as high as I could, and then just catching it over my head, and just trying to sort of practice out the flinch reflex. And I threw the ball up. She opened the front door and said, "Hey, Jay." And I turn around and it hit me in the head and I just went down. Boom. And I woke up like probably 2 seconds later on the ground, and she was in the doorway, kneeling, holding herself up with the door, couldn't stand up. She was laughing so hard. And I'm like, you sick bitch. I didn't have words for that because I was probably 12. But totally genetic thing.
But yeah.
But yes. So he makes it fun.
You got to make it entertaining somehow. Otherwise, it's just one guy doing something.
Yeah. But anyway, so what's your plan with this?
So I'm currently in the process of fixing it. I think this is day 3.
So the parts list, where did the parts list come from? It came from Jason poking his head under the car, and that was it?
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. And my knowledge about these cars.
But I couldn't see much.
Yeah. So the only thing that he saw was that the oil pan had a big gaping hole. Yeah. And we saw that the sway bar bracket was damaged a little bit, but at the time we thought maybe the subframe is okay. And when we got the car up in the air, the subframe was bent and cracked.
And it is specific to the M5?
Yes.
Oh, splendid.
Yeah. But thankfully, we managed to find one in Sacramento, and we got it fairly quickly over here. And it wasn't that expensive either, $200.
Wow.
So, that was amazing.
Yeah. That worked out brilliantly.
And then everything else.
And then everything goes to shit, yeah. So I wanted to do my routine thing, inspect both oil pumps, drop the oil pan, replace it because it's cracked, do the rod bearings, the Vanos line, the usual stuff. And I got it torn apart, and I was at the point, okay, let's see if the engine turns. It doesn't.
Oh, no.
You can only turn it 20 to 30 degrees either way, and it gets completely stuck.
So does it like valve on piston completely out of timing, like broken timing chain?
You're gonna have to watch the episode. Don't tell them anymore.
I'm not gonna say it just yet, but that was my first thought. Okay, piston to valve contact. Yeah, it feels like it, and I didn't want to force it because you never want to force it.
No. I mean, you're not going to learn anything from.
I told him to put the air gun in it
to start it.
Break apart. That's what I kept saying. Break apart.
We set one of our colleagues on fire doing that. No, by continuing to turn and try to start a motor that was clearly not going to start with starting fluid. And then we set one of my colleagues on fire, lightly on fire, benign fire, not malignant fire.
I've done that as well.
Non-metastatic.
Yes, fire. Non-metastatic on fire.
But that's just funny
benign fire. On fire.
Yeah. So they're gonna have to watch it. How many episodes do you think you'll get out of this project?
Probably at least 2, maybe even 3, because there's more content than I bargained for.
More wrong.
The car is
Plus,
more...
hold on. Plus, you could probably do a car week thing. I mean, we can get videos. I'll stand on the side of the road while you just do a huge fucking burnout in the middle of the Pebble
tires?
Beach tour. Fine-ish.
I gotta replace the front ones, but the rear
But
ones.
the rear ones don't need replacement? Oh, that's too bad.
No. But I think by the end of it, they're probably
You
gonna
can
need
send them away.
Yeah, but you should. I mean, you should make videos of car week. I mean, you're there. You might as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I will. And you got to do a nice little drift in it as well.
What'll happen is I'll total it again. It'll be a double salvage.
Then you'll do the work.
Oh no, I'm not touching that. Fucking thing barely fits on my lift.
It's big.
I mean,
but it's funny. You were complaining that it's heavy, and then you got the brand new M5, which is heavier than the X5.
I mean, the brand new M5 is heavier than, I think...
the whole Bay Area.
The Sun. But, wow.
Yeah, well, I think the 850 CSI is probably heavier than the...
Like
the
the new
60
M5 is like comparable weight to like a Rolls-Royce Dawn or something.
Oh yeah, but also a Suburban.
Yeah.
Literally.
And like an Econoline.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
It outweighs a ProMaster, Ram ProMaster. Like the memes are amazing on that.
Yeah. Endless source of amusement.
Yeah.
So what is your long-term vision? You're going to leave it in the United States, take it back to Europe?
That was initially the plan, to leave it like a second car here, because I do come quite often here, and I would love to have a car that I really love to drive. And my plan would be to drive like cross country. I always wanted to make that drive. And
I've never done it.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
There you go.
No. I don't know. It seems like the joyful to dull ratio is maybe not good enough.
Do it the way that I did it, which is no interstate.
Yeah.
And it doesn't turn to shit until
retire.
Kansas.
Yeah.
I'd have to
No,
retire.
I mean, it took me 5 days to get to Ohio. And the only sloggy parts were Kansas, like sort of once it really gets flat. But up until that point was spectacular. And then, it's
So I should just go to Denver.
a little further. But yeah, you should go cross country, but just back roads, because it's just not. The interstate is just.
Yeah, you got to come up with a plan and make.
Did you plan that route when you did that, or did you just check the don't avoid highways box?
What I did was I decided that every day was going to be 500 miles. And I figured that would be 10 hours of driving because I was not going to speed. So there was no speeding involved except for on the loneliest highway in Nevada. Well, I had to break in the engine. So the engine
Jason says stuff like that all the time, and it's never true.
No.
He'll always be like, I'm going to drive like a saint on this section. I'm tired. I've had enough of this.
You are supposed to defend me.
Hustling. And then it's like, all I see is in the rearview mirror is Jason sliding into frame in my rearview mirror. And I'm just like, yes, we're taking it easy.
For the record, the engine had 13 miles on it when I left for a cross-country road trip. I put the motor in. I drove 13 miles, changed the oil, put new oil in, and left. And I was shitting myself, thinking like, I did this. I built this motor. There's no way it's going to hold together. And my deal was I would not speed. The one portion of the trip that I ignored that was somewhere in Mexico where I did an entire 200 miles at top speed. How much? It only took 2 hours. It was. I mean, there's a lonely stretch. Whatever. Anyway, the rest of the time I just did the speed limit. And so what I did was I would do a radius of 500 miles, and I would look at where the cool squiggly roads were to get there. And I would pick a sort of destination and look on Google Maps and find a cheap hotel in that town or my second or third choice town, make that reservation. And then I would do that trip. And when I arrived there in the afternoon that day, so like leave at like 7 a.m, get there at 5 p.m, and then get dinner and sit in the hotel room and do the same thing again. Where's 500 miles going to get me? So I sort of didn't do the most efficient way. There was some days I went north, some days I went south. But every day wound up being 10 hours of driving at 55, 60 miles an hour on 2 lanes. And I left in the morning with like fruit and nuts in the car that I could, so I didn't have to stop for food, and just sort of snacked all day. It was fantastic. It was one of the best 5-day drives of my life.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I would love to do that. But anyway, yeah, that was your question. So initially the plan was to leave it here, but right now I have way too many projects and cars at the moment, and I think I'm gonna have to sell it at the end of the car week.
I think you should put an ad in it, and if it doesn't sell on Car Week, give it to OTS and Company and make them sell it.
Thanks. Salvage title.
Come on, it's a car. You're a fucking used car salesman.
And
By-
it's gonna look amazing, by the way. I have
And it will be the
custom-
Oh
most-
yes, I look forward to seeing that. We can't divulge that
It
yet.
will be the most famous, second most famous E60 M5 manual ever to be put on
Probably,
his
yeah.
channel.
I think mine has like 10 million views or something like that.
See? I'm trying to promote your company, shit.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Also trying to make sure that it doesn't sit in my fucking lot for another 4 months. I mean, I'm the wonderful host, as you say, get that fucking pile of shit, ugly,
Out of there.
Chris Bangle fucking front end, Dame Edna headlight
Hey,
piece
I
of
would
shit.
gladly live with you. You can daily drive it.
No, I can't afford the gas on that.
Come on, it's not that bad.
If I sell the e-Golf, I can afford 3 months worth of gas.
You live in the States, gas is cheap, even in California.
What do you pay for gas now in Europe?
€2 a liter.
220.
220.
So that's what,
30.
250 times 3.89?
3.78.
378. All right. 378.
Are we really gonna do this?
Yeah, we're going to find out. 3.78 times, what did you say, 250 again?
220.
220.
220
230.
euro, which is how much?
Which is 10. Just add another 10%, so 242.
Shit, we're
242.
doing math, huh?
You are paying $9.15 a gallon.
And what do you pay here?
5 to 6.
I mean, we were up close to 9.
No, we weren't.
And I
We
get
were
like
6
I
Barely.
paid 9 a gallon once.
for
2 years
100
ago.
octane.
No. But no, lately it's been fives. So yeah, it's still almost double.
and combine that with the Autobahn, and I barely get 200 kilometers out of one tank
Holy
with the
shit.
M5.
And that's
124
100 liter,
miles.
right?
Yeah, but you get everywhere so much faster. Like it's ridiculous.
You have to get paid a lot per hour for the time you save to be worth it.
So I told to myself, as long as I can afford it to maintain it and put gas in it, I don't care. I'm gonna drive the shit out of it because it is my favorite car, and I want to get it to 500,000. Right now it's
Kilometers?
Right now it's 270,000 kilometers. That car, and it's so much fun.
It does sound amazing.
It sounds absolutely amazing. It's so comfortable. It's fast. It sounds great. A few weeks back, we drove from Munich to Frankfurt. Waze was saying they were going to arrive at like 11:30 in the evening. I got us there like 10:20.
I mean, that's the thing I love about
260,
Germany.
280 all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, 260, 280 all the way. Like you can really make time when conditions
And
are
the
right.
best part is my wife doesn't complain. It's that comfortable and quiet. Like she can sit over there and read a book with her little
At
map light.
170 miles an hour. Yeah, no, that's
So the
insane.
car is just amazing. It's-
I mean, look,
So when you finish these projects, you normally keep them or sell them on? Or
Most of them I do keep. Before I started YouTube, that was my thing. Basically, I would flip cars. I actually started here in California, in Santa Barbara. So I would buy a shit box, BMW, whatever, bring it home, clean it up, fix what needs fixing, and flip it for profit. And then I moved to Germany, and I started doing the same thing. And flipped one car after another. Then YouTube started. Then YouTube money started coming in, and then it was like, I love these cars, like especially E31s, the M5s. I don't want to sell them. I want to keep them. And now I have, like 20 cars or something. I don't even know the exact number. Like they're like spread on different continents. Like I have 2 now in the US. I have one in Dubai, and I have a few
that you've never
in
seen,
Germany.
right?
Yeah. And I bought it like 2 years ago.
wow, impressive. I feel sane.
if you need to go to Dubai and walk, because it doesn't run, walk, you too could own a car in Dubai.
What is it?
It's a V12 BMW, but I can't say what it is. Just
can't say.
Okay.
Yeah, the channel really started, and so M539 came from M5E39, right?
yeah.
But
That's my
your
favorite.
start on the channel was really all the V12 stuff.
Pretty much, yeah. So my first video was starting a black 7 Series in a parking lot near Frankfurt that was sitting over there for 5 years. And that video got like 200 views.
What generation?
2001. So
So
E38.
last of the E38s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's what got me. It was your sense of adventure on the V12s, knowing that everyone else is fearlessness. Everyone else is scared of them. You were like, well, I'll do plugs. And then
doing plugs on those
his
cars.
editing style also is really good because you figured out a way to artfully edit out the boring shit that and it's just with sound effects. It's not sound effects, but just some sound design and whatever.
So what most people do on YouTube is when they do something boring, it's going to be like a fast forward montage with like shitty music and whatnot. And to me, that's just boring because you don't see anything. So it's like I would rather show like 1 or 2 seconds of something that I'm doing and just kind of skip through it, like fast forward that way, than to actually like speed up the whole thing. And I think
works,
that works. Yeah.
It works because you get to watch all of the substantive stuff without any of the
right.
crap. And so I started getting invested in that. And then you bought it's the Calypso Red Marseille.
Yeah.
A Calypso Red 850i manual.
I had two before that as well. I had a green one and a black one.
Which green?
I think it's called Laguna Green or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a very, very cool color.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And it was actually, we talked about the last time you were on this podcast, but it was when you were doing your E30 that I finally messaged you. I'm
Wait,
like,
I was on this podcast before?
Weren't you here before?
No.
You weren't here before?
No.
Why did I imagine you were here?
I
my
was
God.
here, but we never did it. Yeah, I was here with the E60 M3 2 years ago, I think.
Oh, I thought that's right. I thought you'd come on the podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
But that was doing your E30. What I'm thinking is when we came back from that trip, probably it gave the story like of, you were resurrecting that E30.
So my thing was finding neglected BMWs in Europe, preferably south of Europe, Italy and Spain.
Yes, for
Because
a
I
good
was-
structure.
Yeah, I was used to California cars. You buy a California car and it's mint underneath. Like,
Yeah, it's so nice.
it's beautiful. And
We have the same thing here where if someone buys a car from back east or, this Midwest, then it gets there and it's all crusty. I mean, how was which car is Project Chicago?
Well, funnily enough, that car is originally from Texas and it spent only, I think, less than a year in Chicago. So
This
it's
was an
mint.
Alpina B7?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a
That
great
had
story.
some kind of color that was from not the right color or something like that. It's supposed to be
With the bumpers are different.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It was supposed to be factory Schwarz too, which is like flat black, but it had some metallic pearls in it. I mean, you saw the car in person back then. It looked kind of weird.
Yeah. Uncover some weird stuff. But Alpina wound up helping you out on that.
Yeah,
It was really
that
cool.
was great. It worked out great. I even went to visit them, and Andy Bowenzippen ended up driving the car as well, which was really cool.
You let him drive. He's a madman at the wheel.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Great.
Those are
We need to talk to yes, exactly. We need to talk to Andy. I want to know what they did, but I want to buy whatever they did to the E30s because they had a 2.7 or 2.9 liter, whatever, a big M20 that made 200 horsepower, and I want whatever cams or whatever they did.
I was talking recently to someone who had an E38 740 and he did a 4.6 IS swap. And I was like, that's like interesting because it's 0.2 of a liter. And then I started looking at the differences between the engines and I was like, holy shit, they give you 0.2 of a liter and you get like 50 or 60 horsepower
Jesus.
from 0.2 because, Alpina.
No, they can tune engines like properly.
Even NA, I mean.
Yeah. So I actually
20 years
bought
ago.
a really rare one last year. Was it last year? Yeah. Alpina B10 V8 S Touring, which is an E30 540i essentially.
E39.
E39, yeah. One of 43 made, and it's a 4.8 liter.
Oh, so yeah, 4.8 IS motor. Oh, that's cool.
No, not that one. It's M62.
Oh, we're talking earlier, yes.
Yeah,
This is prior.
M62, yeah. So 375 PS, whatever that is in horsepower.
Something
And
slightly less than
essentially-
369 or something like that.
It's Alpina 4.6 engine, but stroker. They stroked it with the S62
cool.
crank and connecting rods, I think.
I love those
So it's
Frankenstein
just-
Yeah,
projects.
and then it just comes together and it works beautifully.
Yeah.
And you're like, why didn't they
It's a
do this at
beautiful
the
car.
factory?
Yeah.
Durability and longevity is why they didn't do it. Probably.
Do Alpinas have durability and longevity issues? Early ones?
To be honest, I had problems with my B7, but that's a whole different story. But if you start searching for Alpina, used Alpinas in Europe, you're going to see that most of them are high mileage. People use them.
Yeah.
Like use them a lot. Doesn't matter if it's a diesel or a petrol car.
Yeah.
They just use them and they rack up the miles like nothing. And they
So
work really
they
well.
seem to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the B7 though, that was maybe not. Those all had cylinder. Was it cylinder scoring?
Yeah, they had issues with scored alloseal
This
cylinders.
is the first generation that we got in the US anyway.
First one we got. Yeah.
This was the E60 3 or 5 or whatever the hell that hideous
61.
one is.
It's a great engine. Don't get me wrong. It's a phenomenal engine. It has so much torque. It's quiet. It pulls beautifully.
66. Long wheelbase. Sorry. 66 long wheelbase.
E66 is.
I purposely like have blocked out, I think from trauma, the generation after E38. I don't know what the designation is. I know it's not
E65.
E60.
It's 65.
E65.
Yeah.
65.
And 66 is long wheelbase.
So that's like the most hated 7 Series.
terrible.
And when I bought it, I kind of went in with that attitude as well, like expecting it to be shit. It's an amazing piece of engineering, that car.
Okay.
Like I think that's one of the.
I'm not going to disagree with you there. It's,
I mean, if you watch the videos, the attention to details on that car and everything is just unbelievable. Like, for example, you take the vapor barrier on the doors. So most BMWs is just a piece of foam and butyl tape all around.
Yes.
Here they actually designed a whole piece with like clips that you can like unscrew and remove it. The sound system in that car, I did play it for you. It's insanely good. and the car is just comfortable like nothing else.
The problem was twofold. Number one, what it looked like, and
Yes,
number two,
I know.
that version of iDrive.
Yeah,
was
that I agree.
bad.
iDrive is terrible in that car. The first generation in the E60 gets a lot of hate, but I actually quite like it. For me, it works fine. But
E60 is terrible, but nowhere near as bad as E65.
No, because E65 was based on Windows, I believe, and it just doesn't work.
Well, and the other thing was that not only so the early iDrive had the spinny wheel, but it could be moved north, south, east,
Yes.
west, and
Northeast,
and it's a nice
northwest.
piece of aluminum as well.
right, exactly. So you can move it in diagonal and spin it.
Yes.
And each menu was done by each submenu was done by a different team, and they all had different controls. So sometimes to spin would zoom, other times to spin would go around and things. Sometimes to spin would select other stuff, and then
On
the
E65
back button or the back spot was in a different spot in every menu.
And if you push it to the right, it's going to go to a completely different menu. If you push it to up and left.
That's absolutely asinine. It is an exercise in poor UX.
Well, that's what happens when a car company thinks they're a tech company and don't understand how to make.
I have not much experience with iDrive, but by the time I ever got to use it, it was perfectly fine in my E90.
E90 LCI cars is
Yeah, my
with the
E90
buttons.
LCI was
right. That was when it went from being a pain in the ass to like,
It was
oh,
perfectly sensible and reasonable.
But honestly, if I were to move back to California, I think I would actually get an E65 760 with the EDC, because I've driven one from one of my subscribers. It is the most comfortable car I've ever driven. It's like driving on a cloud.
Yeah,
You don't feel anything.
Is that the whole purpose of a BMW?
But it's the 7 Series. It's quiet. It's comfortable.
Get
It's
an
fast.
S-Class.
Yes, thank you.
So the one thing you haven't done, so you've done a Maserati thing, which I think was a great thing for you to branch out.
Yeah.
I
Which backfired.
applaud that totally. I mean, backfired, but it's your blood is our laughter, right? I mean, like,
Yeah. Actually, the last video did pretty well.
yeah. I hope they all do really well because they're first of all compelling drama because fucking everything went wrong with that car. Also, learning opportunity for all of us.
Yeah.
I.e., don't ever buy these fucking cars.
Never.
But just watching the way that engine's constructed, whatever, it's fascinating. But you need to branch out into a Mercedes, I feel.
Yeah. I think one of the next brands that I want to do, it's either Mercedes or Porsche.
Yeah, Porsche's boring. Sorry.
As someone who is a fan of both of those marks, I support that.
The Mercedes stuff is really reasonable, or,
It is, yeah.
easier to work on. And Mercedes does everything slightly differently. Like, you ever been to Japan where it's like, this is Earth, but everything is slightly different? Like, oh, that's a green bagel. Why? Oh, it's got green tea in it. Oh, that's a green Kit Kat. Like, we don't have those, right? Everything is Earth, but just doink. And that's coming from a BMW world and going to Mercedes. You'd be like, I know what that is, but why is it shaped that way? And why is it not called this, but called that, and uses voltages where everyone else uses amperage to change? They just doink.
But that's nice. I like that. I
It's great.
I like that because I love good engineering. Like, that's why I like BMWs, because engineering is just brilliant.
What would you nominate as the place in Mercedes land that he should start?
More modern than the shit that we fuck around with. So
They're pretty simple.
Yeah,
The cars that we are used to.
I mean, a good 210.
No,
E-Class.
those are like pretty basic.
I don't even know what
211.
210 is.
So
That's the first
210
one.
was
The
the
first one
ugly.
with 4 headlights.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
But like an
Like
E55
1998.
AMG, a 211 E55 AMG.
Those are pretty simple cars.
Yeah.
That's
But they're
with the
simple and
flush box,
different.
right?
That's so he has you just outside his C43 AMG is there, right? That car came out, it was a contemporary to the E46 M3, and we all laughed that car out of existence, right? Because BMW had this 8,200 RPM, 4-valve per cylinder, double Vanos, infinitely variable cam timing, S54 with a manual and da-da-da, but all of this tech. I wouldn't have an E46 M3, but I did have a C43 AMG, and I would have 3 more. That car was laughed because single cam per bank, 1.
No variable valve timing.
No variable valve timing because it's only a single cam. 2 coils per cylinder, 2 spark plugs per cylinders, right? That's right. One coil, double fire. Is it 2 coils? No, it's 2 coils per cylinder. Whatever it is.
Ridiculous.
Fucking car was just really weird. And we're like, oh, single cam, 3 valve per cylinder. Fuck this. BMW's got it. On balance, I actually appreciate the simplicity of Mercedes design now, especially as the cars have gotten older. It's a really stout sort of set of engineering. So a C43 AMG wagon, for example, that's a thing. That'd be a great place to start, especially if you swap a 5.4 liter. So the 55 engines of 5.4.
The reason I was never into them, it's because of the Clunkomatic.
Yeah, so you can easily swap it to a manual as well because that engine, they made it in a V6 version with 2 fewer cylinders, so it's a 90-degree V6, and then they came with a 6-speed manual in the SLK and here in the US in the Chrysler Crossfire. So the bolt pattern's identical, so you can swap it to a stick and you could put a 5.4 in it, and then awesome. It has 350 horsepower and it's a stick and it's rear-wheel drive and it's a V8, and if you do it to a wagon, then
it's even extra bonus points.
Pretty zippy.
But they're also, that automatic is not bad.
For daily driving, it's probably quite good.
It's one of the few automatics that I drove. So they've sort of programmed it. AMG's deal was anyone buying a car the size of a Honda Civic with a V8 in it wants to hear it, and so in normal driving it revs the shit out of the engine, and it's not, doesn't do the modern sort of automatic thing where it's always like, I'm gonna be in 100th gear at idle, and you're like, fucking downshift as the train's coming and trying to kill you. But a C55 wagon, so a C43 wagon with a 55 motor in it and a stick would be like,
that'll be nice.
Yeah, that's a good build. That's a good place for you to start. Any of those cars with those engines,
and they're cheap. Parts are cheap. Everything's cheap.
Convert to a stick.
They also rust, don't they?
In Europe, it depends actually. So we learned somewhat anywhere not in California. Yeah. They rust. That we learned subsequently that as part of some effort to be environmentally friendly, they were not changing as frequently some of the, I think it was the rust the anti-rust coating deposition solution. Mm-hmm. And so if the car was built during the beginning, when they within the first couple of days, they were supposed to change it like every few days, and they were changing it like every 2 weeks. So the cars built towards the end of the 2-week period were more rusty than the cars built during the first few days. So it's a kind of a grab bag, but I think by now the rust prone ones will have identified themselves.
Yeah, it's going to show. Yeah.
So it's variable.
Yeah, you're just running out of. I mean, I'm happy to I'll keep watching your shit on BMWs, but you're kind of running out of cool ones.
Not really.
No.
I mean, I have a really, really cool one coming up.
What's on the frontier? A someday frontier that's not in the pipeline.
What I want to do? Or
some car that you would like to resuscitate that hasn't.
Something that I know it's never going to happen probably, but I would love to get my hands on. It's the Goldfish.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't started it yet, right? It doesn't run?
Last time I spoke to BMW Group Classic, I think that thing, last time it was running back in 95, 96.
So Goldfish, for those of us if the consumers who are not familiar with this thing, it's an E32 7 Series with a 16-cylinder version of the V12 in it, which they built.
I saw it in person.
I
saw it in person, and it's incredibly cool.
It's so cool. I've seen it.
It's basically an M70 V12. And you can actually see where they cut the intake manifolds and just welded on. Added more, and it's just ridiculous. It's just more of it, and it looks amazing.
Listen, if a V12 got us all watching your channel, then a V16 is going to make it, stick.
I would kill to get.
And actually, timing wise, hey, BMW
Why don't you
Classic.
build your own?
Oh God! Oof. But listen, BMW Classic better be listening to this, and I'm going to send links to all those guys. You're close with them. I'm close with them.
Yeah, if they were to get it running
the Bugatti Tourbillon is about to hit, and that's a V16. BMW needs to capitalize on the V16 wave by giving the Goldfish to Sreten.
I mean, that's a hell of a way for them to publicize the bringing that car back to life.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, I am going to be working with them probably next year. They're going to give me, they're supposed to give me one of their cars for me to revive it in the channel. And it's a pretty cool car. I can't say yet what it is.
But it's not the Goldfish.
No, it's not the Goldfish.
Yeah.
Well, it's a test. It's an interview for the Goldfish job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do well over there.
Yeah, but they have to get that V16 running next year to capitalize on the V16 thing. Yeah.
I don't think that there's I think V16 is timeless. It will always be cool, no matter who is or isn't also doing it.
I'm trying to help him. Shut up.
But also the story behind the Goldfish, it's just amazing. The guy who built it, Adolf Fischer, he basically built that thing in his kitchen. It's just a ridiculous story.
I just want to know what the crank looks like. It's probably fires as 2 V8s rather than 2 straight 8s. It would have to. But so how he machined that crank from... There was no V8 at the time yet, right?
It had not been invented yet.
BMW from...
No, not yet. Yeah.
93.
But basically when they developed that car, only 6 people knew about that car.
That's so cool.
It was being developed. So the guy that built it, Adolf Fischer, 2 guys from Bosch, because they needed to do the computers.
Injection.
And I think a few other people. And then he ended up having radiators from a Countach.
That's
in
why
the
they're
trunk.
mounted in the
trunk.
in the back.
Yeah.
It's got these big vents on the side.
Yeah.
It's bizarre looking.
It's just.
I like
insane.
whenever engineers are given free reign to do something like
Yeah.
that. Like the story of the Mercedes 6.3 is like that. The guy built it out of some body shell fell off of the assembly line, and he's like, "I'll take that."
Yeah.
And then he like took
Exactly.
the engine from the big limousine and put it in there, and then like he was driving it, and the chief of product development, Rudy Uhlenhaut, who had previously been the head of motorsport, heard it go by, and he was like, "What the hell is this thing?" And then he showed it to him, and then they put it in production.
There's another one that happened that too. Somebody heard. Maybe it couldn't have been 6.3. Whatever. It's happened throughout times where engineers will swap whatever in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like messing around for fun, building a thing they think will be entertaining.
GTI can actually happen that way.
Oh, really? What was the engine supposed to be from? Like, why was there a hot?
The Audi version of that, or maybe they just cammed it. I don't know. But that was a Skunk Works thing, and then somebody built it. E30 Wagon was a Skunk
Yeah, I was
Works
about
thing.
to say E30 Touring.
Max
Yeah.
Heisbuck built one, and they.
It was like used for running parts around at the factory or something.
No,
like
he
that?
built it for he had kids and didn't want a 5
There
Series.
was
It too
wasn't
big.
there one that was running
Pickup
around
truck.
parts at the pickup truck?
That was an E46 M3 pickup, right? Wasn't it E46 M3 pickup that they did? That was a parts runner.
Could be. Yeah. I can't really remember. But there's another cool one. If I can remember his name correctly, Paul Roche from BMW.
Yeah.
He had a sleeper E32 with an M5 engine. So it looks completely stock from the outside, but it has S38 engine under the hood.
Oh,
Well,
well,
and they had also
Piech
just done that with the 745 for South Africa. That was not the
that one
first
as well,
7
yeah.
Series to
Piech
get.
did a VR10
Yes.
in an E39
M5.
M5. That's fucking cool.
Wait, which one?
Ferdinand Piech, E39 M5. He bought it.
He just needed a car that was the right size and shape.
Oh, right.
And so he put a VR10 in it,
Yeah.
and then liked it and just fucking drove it.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool.
There you go.
Can you imagine Ferdinand Piech running around in a BMW?
Yeah.
Like
Ridiculous.
you're the CEO of Volkswagen, you're driving a BMW.
Yeah, but anyone hearing that thing would have immediately been like, that is not supposed to be like this.
Nope. Shouldn't sound like that.
Okay, I know that you have to go, which sucks because
To continue to wrench.
well, yeah, somebody's delivering more parts because surprise, something else broke.
Yeah, so I gotta go drop off the wheels, and then the big pile of parts is coming. So hopefully,
And
Hopefully.
graphics pack coming together.
the
wrap?
yeah. So the wrap is there. We just need to find a guy to do it.
I know a guy. You just do it. You do everything else. You rebuild vanos, or you rebuild oil pumps for sport.
Yeah, but that's
Some of
fun.
the shit you pull apart on that channel. Seriously, you guys are gonna watch. He's nuts.
Yeah, I've done quite a lot of work on it, but that's fun. I like doing that. I don't like putting stickers on the cars.
I'll do it. It'll be crooked and sideways.
Yeah.
All right, check Sreten's channel out. It's M539 Restorations on the YouTubes, and you are also on the Instagrams.
Yes,
For the record, he's not German. He doesn't even speak German.
a little
Kann
bit.
Deutsch
Enough to
reden
order.
und dann verstehst du kein Wort, ne?
Yeah, you speak German.
See, it's what happens.
Enough
Yeah,
to order beer.
check it out. He is responsible for my E31 purchase. So, and with the broken one.
But also you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, big thank you to you for hosting me here and
I hope you
Putting
make
on my
it.
shit.
I hope you make it.
I hope so too.
I hope you survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
E60 M5.
I guess. What is your intended departure date? How many more days do you have?
Today
to drive
it's
down.
Thursday, isn't it?
Today's Thursday, yeah.
Well,
and
the audience doesn't know that, but yes, apparently we don't record in real time. Yeah. So he has all day Friday, all day Saturday, Sunday, and then probably most of the day Monday. So he's got 4.
Yeah, but Monday we gotta get it registered or past
Oh
inspection.
shit! He's got to do a lights and brakes and light inspection.
Salvage title.
You need to make an appointment for that now, and then So you have no time. Bye.
Yeah.
Get out.
So.
All right. Join us again next week.
thank you for joining us.